now we're on the home page and we're logged in, so we have the bar across the top. So if you need to edit the home page, you can just click edit front page. I usually open it up in a new tab so I can make changes and then just refresh the front end. So the top part we'll get into next. That's using a plugin for the slider.
Mm.
So I can show you how to add new images, but it's just edited in a different place. But coming down the page, you can see where all the content is.
Mm.
So this section here on the left, just a text block. And any text blocks, you can just click on right on it, and it'll open in a new window where you can edit the text. So you just have your tools here. You can like bold, italicize, change things from heading 2 to heading
Mm.
3. But generally, you just kind of usually keep it whatever it is for now, and then just edit your text, click save, and then once you're done, once you save the text block, you click the update button. For these circle blocks, the
Mhm.
text is here, so the static heading is that first text block where it says weddings, and then the hover content is the second one. So if you need to edit the hover content, you can edit that here. But if you ever needed to basically edit weddings or social events, you would basically edit both. So the static and then the hover. For the
Okay.
images,
And one, can I
yeah.
interrupt already? When you go, like, if you click in the, like, the body text there, right there. So I know when we were doing something the other day, you recommended to do it in the text tab as opposed to the visual. Is that still
That's
the
only
case, or
for
does it, uh,
pop-ups, really.
okay, so everywhere else it's okay to do like this?
Yeah,
Okay.
everywhere else that we don't have any like hidden code. It's just that pop-up editor doesn't have like a way to like build columns or anything. So we had to do
Yeah.
that more
Gotcha.
custom.
Okay. Thank you.
And so then the images for these, it's the background image on the column. So you can kind of see it faded out faintly behind the text blocks. And to edit the column, you can click this cell where it says edit column. And in here, you just go to the styling tab, and then the image is down here. So if you need to swap out this image, you can click insert image and upload it to your media library. Or if it's already in here, you can just select it and click insert. They don't have to be squares or anything. It's basically automatically going to be sized on there. For these circles, I'd say generally you want them to be sized for the most part, just nothing like too crazy large. Like they don't need to be like 2000 pixels wide. Really, probably only need to be like 500 or so wide. Uh, and then it helps to kind of size them before, just so you can kind of know exactly how it's going to look in there. So if you have it like set up as a square just before you upload it, it'll definitely look exactly how it looks before you upload it.
And then, Jared, I remember we talked about at some point, like, is there, like, ideally we will resize these to the correct for across the site, resize them appropriately, but then is there still kind of that built-in optimizer when we upload, or no?
Yeah, that's what we'll be adding um, to it. So it'll just basically set a maximum width or height on what you're uploading. It'll kind of compress
Okay.
it down.
Yeah.
So we'll be adding that and also just kind of be doing all the updates and optimizations as part of the maintenance for the gold hosting. That
Okay.
plugin isn't on there yet, so I'll be doing
Okay.
that.
So then um is there a list somewhere or something we can reference for right now, like what the optimal sizes are for each of the different kinds of images we're using? Like you just said
Um,
this one, but like,
yeah, yeah, I'll provide that. I'll just
okay.
create a list and send that over. So let me just add
Okay.
that.
Because then we
Just
can use that photo sizer app too, right? That you
yeah.
told us about. Okay. Or that Anna already used. Didn't you already use it?
I used a different one.
So whenever we make edits here, like you were showing us, does that automatically do it for mobile as well as desktop?
Yeah, you won't have to change anything for
Okay.
mobile. And then in these areas, I would just recommend keeping them, like if you change the text, basically what you have here works well for now for all screen sizes. Nothing will ever get cut off. That's the tricky part with like hover boxes, since it kind of is fitting inside this circle. So same thing for like the testimonials on the occasions pages. I would just recommend kind of keeping it about that same length that they are now. Down the page. So these are just a feed of vibes. So as we go through and edit like vibes, I'll show you how that all kind of feeds in here. Same thing for the logos. That's a feed. The rest of the page is basically a feed of logos, feed of blog posts, and then everything else. So most of it's automated other than the top banner and then these circle images. So for that top banner, that's on the left down here under Slider Revolution. So you can see we only have one slider on here just on that home page. So once you're hovering over it, you can click edit. And you'll see the image here. And basically to add new images, you would just come up to where slides is and hover over number 1, and you can duplicate this by clicking this icon. That'll basically have 2 slides. So now we have 1 and 2. You can drag and drop them around to change the order and to swap out the image. So you would clone it, then come in here, and in the top right, the image options are, there's like a million options with this plugin, but it's really only a couple that you need to know. It's just kind of finding them. So that's like right here in the top right was where like the background is. And you can see we're on background. Type is image, so you can click media library and then upload a new image or select one. So on here, I just grab a larger image. Let's see. So these are smaller. This one's large. So if we wanted this to be an image, like the second one, now it's in there. You can see it previewed. You can click save. Now we'll have 2 slides on the home page. And then also to edit the text, that is under the slides under the global layers. So that's basically sits on top of all the slides. So the text is right here on the right, just in HTML. So that's one of the fewer places that it's just basically just edit whatever's inside of the brackets and then they'll be fine. So let me go to the home page now. If I can make this Teams thing move. Oh. So now there's 2 slides, it has little bullets at the bottom and it will automatically toggle to the next slide. So that's how you can kind of add more images. And to remove one, you can just come in here and click the trash icon to delete it. And save again, and that's back to the way it was now. So if there's only one slide, the little icons at the bottom will go away.
And can you show us how to change the overlay on the, you know, how it darkens it if we ever wanted to lighten that up?
Yes, right. Did skip over that part. So let's go back in here. And so when you're editing the slide, we'd add the image on this side. The overlay is actually down here. You can see this like shape -1. That is just the overlay. So if you click on it, you can click style and the background color is the overlay. So this one is 20% overlay. So, and then if you upload like a lighter image where you want it darker, each slide has its own overlay. So you can change the overlay on a slide by slide basis. So you just change that, use this, or just type in the number on the left and click the checkbox and then save. So back to the front end. So let's just take a look at some of the more basic pages first, and we'll go into like vibes and rentals. So for
Oh, here, I'm so sorry. One more thing. As long as we're cloning that original image, that's going to include that movement, right? Or is that
yes,
something we have to do on each one?
If you clone it, it'll include that movement.
Okay.
That's why I kind of recommend the cloning, because there's a way to do like the add bulk slides, but that movement won't carry over. So that's why cloning is good.
Okay.
So take a look at the services. This will be pretty basic overall. So if we go to edit page, and looking at the back end, you'll basically just see the text block on the left, which is just the text on the left and the button. So you can edit the text just like on the home page with those other ones, just another text block. To edit the button, you just click on the button as well. And I'll just open this up. And this is the button text, so it says get started. And this is linking to the pop-up. So right now it doesn't look like it's linking to anything, but it's linking to the pop-up. That's controlled by like a custom CSS class here called get started pop-up. So basically anything with that as a CSS class will trigger that pop-up. But if you ever wanted to basically remove that, you would need to remove this class and then set an actual link here. But that's pretty much the only place where it's linking to the pop-up. And the testimonial is just a text block. So inside of here, if you're editing the text, basically targeting the styling by it being italicized. If you replace the text, just make sure it's still italicized. And then this is the heading 4 for the author. So that's just the main things to kind of keep in mind. And then I'd recommend just keeping it about this length or even a little shorter for the testimonials. So when you do any longer, otherwise it'll probably start running off the sides or the bottom. It's kind of a fixed circle right now and it won't really adjust. And the banner images on every page, those are going to be here. So same way we kind of adjusted that circle background, you can just click this edit. You can kind of see the image faded out. And under the styling tab, this is where you can see the image. So if you need to change it, you can click insert image and go in your media library and select it. And if you size them perfectly, then it'll be pretty much correct. I'll just send like the dimensions to use. But if you upload one larger and it's not focusing in the right place, you can change the position to be like center, top center, bottom center to kind of change where the image is focusing. But if we're doing the exact dimensions, then it will just fit exactly how it's supposed to. Then we have the portfolio, which is a feed. Featured wedding rentals. So this is pulling in from Good Shuffle based on the featured weddings tag. It's pulling in 4. If you tag more than 4, it'll just show the first 4. And since it's by default in alphabetical order, it will probably be the first 4, A to Z. Then we have another feed of logos. So we'll check those out once we get through some more of the pages. And then the view all wedding rentals. This is just another page that is pulling in from the wedding rentals tag. This Teams thing kills me how it's always over my tabs. I'm trying to edit. So you can have another banner image on this page, and then it's basically just the feed of tags from weddings from Good Shuffle. So all the service pages are the same. So just the same banner, testimonial setup, same text block on the left. So currently there's no portfolios feeding in here, and we'll check that out shortly. So the about page should be pretty basic. These are just going to be text blocks.
Tracy, did you get that testimonial from Rhoda from Stacy for public events? I noticed it wasn't in there.
Oh, I did, yeah. I thought I had that in that document, but maybe I didn't.
Well, just need to go in and change that.
Yeah.
Okay, so these are missions. The text block history is just text to edit. And what we believe, you'll see how it looks here, but they're just text blocks. You don't have to worry about any of the styling or anything. So if you just need to change these numbers, it's just text like that. And we're just targeting this text block. So there's nothing that'll break by editing it. And same thing with this text, so. Then with all of these blocks, you probably won't need to really move them around, but it's all like a drag and drop builder. So if you ever needed to move anything around, you can just drag and drop them. Or if you ever went down to like 6 that you wanted to get rid of the last 2 and just make them 6, you could make these columns bigger with these arrows to make them like a third, a third, a third. So then you only have 3 per row.
So cool.
So easy.
I know. That's what I was just thinking. I'm like, oh, the Elementor stuff is possible.
Yeah, it has a million options built in, and it's easy to kind of break things. So
So are those boxes, are these just like the ones on the that you just showed us?
Yep.
Add
this
the
will be
text
the
at the bottom.
exact
Perfect.
same
Okay.
way. So if you need to come in and add text, you can just come in here to get inspired and
I go right under it in the same box. Okay. Gotcha. Okay, cool.
so that's it for the how it works. Nothing really else on this page other than the banner you can edit just like any of the others. Meet the team. So we got the banner at the top. Main thing on this one is, so you have your columns here. These are just image elements. So if you need to swap out an image, you can just click on it, click insert image and upload it. And the bios are down at the bottom under pop-ups. I don't know why that's not expanding. I'll have to check that out. There we go. Set a flush my cache. So all the pop-ups are down here. So you can see all the bios. And if you need to add a new team member, so we'll come up here. Let's say first thing would be to create their tile. So I just clone one of these columns. So if you need them to be in Weldon's place, I would clone this one. So now we have 2 of Jess. I'll swap out their name. And
Brooke Hicks, content manager.
That's fun.
It's a new one.
That'll probably be the new one to add. So that'll be a good
Yeah.
test one. So basically 2 steps, or I guess 3 steps. First is creating the block here, and then we have to create the pop-up and then link the 2. So now we created this. We'll go to the bottom. You can just add a new pop-up at the bottom where it says add row. And this is where you would put in the bio. So you could also copy paste one just so to keep all the formatting. Basically heading 2 for the name, heading 4 for their position. Then you just put in their bio. And then I feel most like myself when you could remove this one and upload that new image by going through add media.
It's just dropping in an image.
Yep, just an image. So I think like if I find yours, let's select the image. Obviously alignment would be none and insert into page, and then it'll just be under there. Now we'll put in the image on the left. Let's see. And this is where we kind of connect the block at the top in this pop-up. So basically you can see here, we just do like first name dash last name. So it'd be last. And then basically you're gonna take this ID and come up to the block that you're editing, and the place that's gonna go is by editing the whole column altogether. And if you go to advanced, you'll see the column link is linking to basically the hashtag first dash last name. So that's basically gonna, once it's clicked, it's gonna open that pop-up, whatever that ID is. So as long as those match, then that'll work. Can be a little tricky at first, but it's always the same process. So I'll open up the pop-up and all the information that we have in there. And to remove someone, so you can drag and drop these around to change the order. The pop-up position doesn't necessarily matter at the bottom since it's just linking to them and opening in a pop-up. So if we can move that here, and I can also click the X just to remove that easily. And then I would just remove the pop-up as well. Even though no one will really be able to see it, I would just remove any that you don't need anymore. Okay. Any questions on that page? That one could be a little tricky at first.
I don't think so.
Okay. Join the team. So this one, just got your banner. It's going to be a text block. We have a form. And the main place you're probably going to be editing would be any opportunities. So that is an accordion element. And to edit it, just click right on it and you'll be able to see the accordions. So we have intern Austin and part-time warehouse delivery crew member. You can drag and drop these around to change the order. You can click the X to remove them, and you can copy and add last entry. So basically clone that last one, then you can swap out the content. So the title is what appears when you're looking at it here, and then the rest of it appears when you click on it. So I just change my title, like new position. And then here you can put in like your description. So you could just copy paste those. If something ever looks weird after it's been pasted, sometimes basically if you're pasting from another place or another website, sometimes it will paste styling from there or elements. If you're just pasting from a Word document, you'll be fine. But if you're ever just pulling from somewhere and something looks off, just click this paste as text button first, and that'll just basically only paste the content. It won't paste any other like hidden tags that are getting brought over. So I'll save all those and refresh here, and we'll have our new job here with the drop down. And then to remove it, just click the X. The press will be a feed, the clients and reviews. These are just going to be text blocks you can clone. So if you are adding more testimonials, I would just clone any of them and then also clone like one of these separators that's going in between them and just move it in between. And if you need to edit any of them, just a text block to edit. If you want to drag any of them around, you can drag and drop them to change the order. And to remove them, there's just the X. The contact page, these are just going to be some text blocks you can edit. Those will be pretty straightforward, just like those other boxes on the about page. So nothing to do with colors or anything, just swapping out the text is easy. Any forms on the site, will be editing them can be a little tricky with the form builder. If you need to ever view any entries in the back end, we just tested that before you jumped on, Tracy, when it come through the get started form, and those are getting delivered to the hello at. So that looks like those are all getting delivered correctly. But you could also come in here and go to forms on the left. And what you'll see is basically the 4 forms. We have the ask a question, which is the pop-up form, the contact forms, that longer form on the contact page. The join the team is for applications. And the search is actually a form as well. So if you wanted to see what people were searching for up here, these get logged here. So you can click on entries and you can see what someone searched for Shelf and Mercer.
Oh my God, that's so cool.
All these other ones were tests from when we originally did them. I do have these getting deleted basically after like I think 90 days. So it stores just like 90 days of history, just because I imagine that's going to get used a lot and it'll just kind of clunk up the database. So, but you could always export entries as well. So first we'll look at, basically you can just click on the number of entries. So these say 0 right now. So if you click on it, it won't say anything, but they ask a question, you can click on the 1 and you can see this entry that came in. So you can click view, you can see their name and the message that they sent when it was submitted and what page they're on when it was submitted. The contact and the join the team are obvious, but the ask a question, since that's on like every page in the pop-up, so they were on the all decor lighting page when they submitted this one.
So there's like a help button.
I don't know.
So that came from like this get started where it says want to
This is
chat,
the-
shoot us a message.
Oh, so there's a chat.
Oh, this is okay. This is the question one.
I see.
Okay. And then is the so if we want to make any changes to a contact form, that's what we do it in the Gravity Forms part. Yeah.
Yeah, so if you clicked like edit,
Okay.
you can see the fields in here. And so if we toggle to like the contact form, if you just needed to edit the contact type, you can come in here, you can see the options.
Oh, good. Okay. Yeah, that's
And-
one place I think we're gonna have to make a couple tweaks just because I feel like
Yeah.
it's not very intuitive the way it is the contact type versus the reason for contacting. So
Right. So those are all here.
awesome.
How did you hear about us? If you need to add a new option, you click this plus sign and add a new one. Usually
Cool.
easier to click like bulk add, he'll open up a window, or you just have a line by line and then it'll put them into those little things for you.
Awesome.
But if you ever needed to make any other changes, you can help with editing any of the forms, but definitely just changing any of these options is pretty easy. And then if you ever need to export entries, sorry, go ahead.
Oh no, I was gonna ask if is the join the newsletter one, is that that's a separate pop-up through Flowdesk, right? It's not one of
Yep.
these forms. Okay.
Yeah, those are embedded from Flowdesk, so
Okay.
they should be added straight into the newsletter list.
Awesome.
And to export entries, if you ever wanted to export like search and like analyze it, or just any of the contact inquiries, either join the team applications, you can go to import/export. And it'll bring you to export entries. You can pick the form you want to export, and it'll ask you which fields. You can just do select all, and then you could also like do a date range if you wanted to, and then download export file. We'll just download a CSV file with all the form entries.
That's so cool.
Those are forms. So now it's
Data overload in the best way possible.
so now we'll go to, I guess, quickly the pop-up before, then we'll look into like the post and press. So the pop-ups are going to be under pop-up maker. So there's a couple pop-ups. We have the join our newsletter and the get started. Join our newsletter will trigger automatically after they've been on the site for a little while. If they close it, then it'll go away, but they could also click this let's keep in touch and it'll open this pop-up. That's a Flowdesk form, but you can edit this text, which is so join our newsletter. So this is where you would want to basically use the text editor, because there's a Flowdesk form on here. You can see this little icon that like something's embedded. So it's easy to basically just click backspace and delete something by accident. So in the pop-ups, you would click text, so you can see like all this custom, like this script and everything that you can't see in the visual editor. So here you could see the heading, let's keep in touch, and get the latest loot news, inspiration, and how-tos. That's where you can change that text, and I'll update on the pop-up for everywhere it appears.
If we update the Flowdesk pop-up through Flowdesk, will it automatically update it on the website?
Yes, yep.
Oh.
That updates dynamically straight from Flowdesk. So if you add a new field or change like that placeholder text on any of them, like these, that's all just in Flowdesk, and it'll push. You don't have to change the code or anything.
Cool.
And the get started, so this one we kind of have like columns and everything. So if you edit the text editor, you can kind of see some like divs and everything. You can kind of see the text that you can edit easily, like this heading for let's get this party started, and then want to chat. And then there's some more codes, but text is, if you just need to change some text, that's easy enough. I would just pretty much avoid anything else in there. So those are pop-ups, the press page. So these are going to be under press on the left. So here's all the existing press. So it's basically pulling in an image, the title, and then linking to the external resource or a different page. So if you need to change an image or a title, you can find the one you need to edit. Your title is here. I think there's really even the description, but the title, the featured image is right here. So that's what is feeding to the page. If you need to swap that out, I would click replace image and go to your media library and swap that out. And then the link it's going to is under this little tool, page links to. So you can see where it's linking to this link. So to add a new press, I would click add new. And I'll do a new article. And mainly we just need to pick an image. So I do set featured image, pick an image. And under page links too, this is where you would want to select a custom URL and put in the link that it should go to. So, and open link a new tab, publish it. And that'll appear right on the press page. To remove an article, you can either move it to the trash or you can click switch to draft up here, and that'll make it so it's basically just draft, not published, though it's in the back end, but not completely deleted. So it won't be on the page anymore. And if you need to completely remove it, you can just click trash. So kind of two options, either completely delete it or just hide it for temporarily. For the vibes, so these are under vibes. And these are feeding to the vibes page, the home page. And then there's also like a related feed on here. So you get to the bottom. So once you add a new vibe, it'll populate everywhere. You don't have to change anything. But to edit an existing vibe, you have your banner title at the top, edited the same way like the other pages, the title. Then you have your text here you can edit. And the horizontal gallery is what you're scrolling through here. So if you need to edit any of the images, you can click on the element and it's add/edit gallery. So you just click that. You can drag and drop them around to rearrange them. You can click the X to remove any. If you need to add any new images, you can click add to gallery and upload new images and then add it and just edit it inside of here. And just click insert and save and update. So the shop the vibe, that's pulling from the tags in Good Shuffle. So this one's pulling from anything tagged with Americana. And then we just have explore other vibes and people over loot. So I'll be just going through all of the logos, and the other vibes will show all the other vibes. So on the right here, you have the featured image. The featured image for the vibes is what feeds to the home page here. So if you need to edit this image, it's the featured image. And that also goes to the main vibes page. So basically this image and the homepage image is pulling from the featured image. And the descriptive title that's used on lookbooks and vibes, that's basically what appears in here above the title. So like industrial and rugged. If you need to change that, it's under the descriptive title field. So that's where everything's edited. If you're ever, basically any portfolio, vibe, or lookbook, the easiest way to edit or create a new one would be to click this new draft and basically clone one and then swap out everything. So it'll bring everything over, including the gallery. So you just clone it, swap out the content, the featured image, the title, the gallery, For Shop the Vibe, you'll just have to grab the tag from Good Shuffle, make sure everything's tagged there. Then the Explore Other Vibes and the People Love Our Loot, you can leave those as is. So if we look at the lookbooks, the lookbooks, portfolio, and vibes, they're all going to be very similar. So lookbooks, you can edit them. We have the title, just content, and here's where we just have the iframe code for the book, and the shop, and a related Explore Other. So there's nothing really to do with the Explore the Other and Shop the Lookbook. It's pulling by the tags in Good Shuffle. The only thing to note here, so you have your descriptive title, so venue, lookbook, and then on the seasonal ones, we're putting in like the date ranges for those. And then there's also the lookbook categories, so you can select venue or seasonal, and that will make it so it goes either under the seasonal filter or venue filter.
And they automatically go under all, right?
Yes, yep, that'll include everything. And then if you need to change the order, you can go to reorder here on the left and drag and drop the order of them. Then portfolios should be under portfolio items. Pretty much all the same. So if you need to edit one, you can come in here. You'll see your banner, your title, any content you need. In the masonry gallery, it works the same way as the horizontal gallery slider. You can drag and drop them around, remove them, add new ones, and then click insert gallery. And these are using it's not the slider, it's just the masonry kind of layout, except all these are the same exact size, so nothing, doesn't look like a masonry
Here, can you
gallery.
go back and how do we have to upload all of those images into like the media library, or do we need to, like, how did you bring over like a whole portfolio at one time?
So basically from your old site, we had to download all the images
Mm-hmm.
and then basically come into here. So if we're adding a new one,
Yeah.
I'll click copy to a new draft, or it's the same thing as on the list where you
clone.
clicked new draft, or as clone. Yep.
They're both the same. I was going to ask you that too.
Yeah.
Okay.
And then we'll put in our new portfolio, edit our banner. Put in our new title here. I think a lot of the portfolios had like short description above it.
Mm-hmm.
And then if we go to our masonry gallery, I'll add/edit this, basically remove all of them from here. Click add to gallery, upload all the images. So you could just
So
drag
it does
and
have to
drop.
go into the general media library first.
Yeah, you don't need to like upload it to the media library before you create anything. You can come in here and now drag and drop and upload images. So
Gotcha. So just upload files from there on that tab.
yep, and if it's
Right.
already in your media library, you could
You
just
can add it
select
that
them.
way. Okay.
But
Awesome.
so
Okay.
I'll just drag and drop them. So I got just these two images just grabbed. I'll click add to gallery. So I have my two images. So I can drag and drop them around and change the order.
Okay.
And
Perfect.
insert, save. So now we have our banner, our title, short description, our images. And then on the right, the things you're going to want to populate are the portfolio categories. So I'll select public events. The featured image is what will appear basically on the portfolio page, as well as the occasions where they're feeding. So that's what this main image is going to be. And that should pretty much be it for portfolio. So if I publish this, then I should have a new portfolio here. So it's pulling in the category too. Since I selected public events, it says public events, new portfolio, just pulls from the title. And then if I come in here, I'll have, that's my banner image I picked. And the images I picked were a little small, so they're not like filling the area as much as they should. Or this image is small, so that's where I'll provide the correct sizes for there. Browse our portfolios. That's going to pull in other portfolios within the same category. Since there's no other public events, it's not showing any. But as you kind of add in all the categories, that'll take care of that. And if we go to portfolios, so these links are basically just preset filters. So if I click here, it'll take me to my public events where this is feeding. If I also go to my occasions public events, that'll be in the portfolio. And then if I wanted to hide it, I could switch it to a draft, or I could delete it by clicking move to trash, and then that'll remove it from everywhere. Okay, so I think last thing for feeding to these pages is the logos. So the logos are under this clients tab on the left. So you can see we have them all here. You can see the existing logos. You can see the categories that they're in. They can have multiple categories if you want to appear on multiple. So you can also use quick edit if you just wanted to quickly just change the categories. So you could pick like corporate events, and now this logo would appear in corporate events. If you need to change the actual logo, I would edit this, and that's going to be under the featured image is just where the logo goes, and that's just in the media library. So to add a new logo, I'll just click add new. New logo. This title doesn't really matter. It doesn't really display anywhere since we're just displaying the image, so it's more so for the back end. And then for featured image, I'll just pick this. Let's see what I can put here. Guess I'll pick one that the C3 logo. And then client categories. So like on the home page and a lot of like the vibe pages where it's just showing all the logos, it'll automatically appear there. And then you want to use this for the more specific pages. If you want to go on the weddings page, you click weddings. Or if you want to be on multiple, you select multiple. And then that'll appear here. And it's going to automatically size them to like basically be a maximum height and width. So the main thing with the logos is just to make sure there's no white space above, below, or to the left or the right of the logo. Otherwise, that white space basically gets accounted for when it's getting resized. And then to remove a logo, you can move to trash or make it a draft if you just want it to be a temporary thing. For the blog, that is, everything's under post. So we have all the blogs that we had brought over, and we're using the WordPress Gutenberg editor instead of the page builder for the website. So the Gutenberg editor is basically a default WordPress editor where you can just edit the text. So the blog post will look a little different. I'd recommend sticking with, because you could always technically switch to advanced layout editor and work with the blogs that way. But if you ever rebuild the website with a different builder, you would essentially have to rebuild every single blog post, versus if it's in WordPress, this is what they use and it's more long-term type thing. So for blogs, we just recommend using that. So if you're adding a new blog, you click add new, put in your blog post title, take your content tier, just grab some placeholder content. Under the post options, if you select a date in the future, you can schedule the post under, I don't know if we're not using categories or tags or anything. The featured image is what you want to set as the featured image that's going to appear in the feed. These will all be sized automatically to match the feed there. And so if I publish this, I'll get into the columns next as well, kind of displaying images. For now, if we refresh the blog, it's going to appear at the top of our blog with our publish date. And it's also going to show on the home page. So if we look at our blog, you'll see the blog post title, the publish date, and then our content is starting to appear here. And if you wanted to center it, you could just center the text. You also add in like a heading. Click this plus heading. Center this. If you want to add an image, you can click plus, click image, select from the media library, and then you could upload a new image or just place it here. And change the alignment to center. So now we have all of our text centered, our heading to our image. Could also add, so just another line of text. Then if you wanted to do like images side by side, you could click this plus sign. And instead of just clicking an element, you could click columns and do like 3 columns. And inside of each of these, add an image.
That's nice.
Now if I update it, now I have the 3 images side by side. And then just general text editing, you can always highlight text and bold or italicize. And then if you wanted this to be like a heading 3, you can just click this H2, toggle it to H3, H4. I think down to H4 is all we really use on the site. So then if you want to link anything, you could just highlight what you want to link, click insert edit or this link, then put in the URL. You can open it in a new tab if you're linking to like another website or a PDF. And then it's going to pull in your next 3 most recent posts at the bottom. You change a published date, you can just click this date editor and use the date picker to find whatever the published date should be. And so if you do like Christmas Eve, then update, it'll basically be scheduled. So now it says scheduling. So basically scheduled to be posted that day. Do you have any questions on this setup?
Mm-mm.
I think so.
Okay. If you haven't used the Gutenberg WordPress editor before, it might take a little bit, but basically it's just kind of the plus signs, and I think most of them are going to be paragraph headings and then just using images or putting the images into columns. So that's it for the blogs. And
Can we embed video in there too?
yeah.
Okay.
Yep. So if we go back to the post editor, if you want to embed like a lookbook with a custom iframe, you could do HTML and it'll just let you paste and embed code. If it's like a YouTube video, there's like YouTube and Vimeo that are built in where you just put in the URL and click embed.
Cool. What if we want to upload a video like 3 days? Like if we have a reel we want to drop in or a With something like,
Um,
or do we have to actually link to somewhere?
we usually recommend embedding with like Vimeo or YouTube, just because basically it adds more weight onto the server
Yeah.
and the page if it's
Okay.
a local file
Yeah.
that's
Okay.
on there loading. So the rental pages, so if we take a look at these in the back end, all the rental pages, they're in 3 different spots. You'll see all rentals, ATX rentals, and DFW rentals. And that's where they're all kind of separated. So the all rentals is by default where you go up here. We're just browsing everything. And you can click through the different pages. So if you need to edit, if you want to edit any of the images on the browser rentals page, the rental catalog, these are just going to be image elements and text blocks on the page. So you can edit those just like any other page. And then these pages, if we click into it, click edit page on the accent tables. All these rental pages are using basically that default header going across them. So there's no page banner option on these pages. And then you have your title. This little code is the location notice. So basically this text here. So we basically use a short code. So if you ever need to edit any of the text, it would be in one place and then just edit across all the pages. So, and those are under this little short coder tab. So you'll see the location notice, that's what is appearing there. So if you need to edit it, you can basically see the code to edit. So you're searching inventory in ATX and DFW. Please search location closest to you. So if you need to edit the text, that's here. And then we have a separate one for Austin, Texas. You're currently searching our ATX inventory, and then one for DFW. So if you edit those and just here, it'll go across the other pages. And then basically the feeds, we have all those mapped out on the spreadsheet. So like this page is pulling by furniture rentals, type, accent table. So to basically to reference the spreadsheet to kind of know how to tag products in Good Shuffle.
So once we add a new inventory item through Good Shuffle, we don't have to do anything on the website end?
Nope, nothing on the website. So
Nice.
that's basically, look at the spreadsheet. So I think these are the only ones that are using more attributes, but basically these are all the pages broken down. So on the cocktail tables page, it's looking for anything that's under the furniture rentals that has the type attribute for cocktail table. So as long as that cocktail table is in the type attribute, it'll populate on that page. And I would just give it like a few minutes. Sometimes it takes a little bit to start appearing. Then these ones are more simple, just anything under the dining chairs subcategory in Good Shuffle will feed to that page, sofas, stools. And then like some of the pages that we needed to kind of combine, so like new loot, anything tagged with new dash or space loot will appear on that page. And then if we ever need to change anything on the website, we'll need to update that feed, and then we'll update the spreadsheet here to kind of reflect that. And then our filter by vibes, those are all pulling from here as well. These are kind of all custom built, so any like the filters are a little trickier currently. But basically, if we ever need to add a vibe, we can add it here. And the filter value is basically the tag that's inside of Good Shuffle. So basically, if someone clicks on vintage or romantic, we're adding the Paris tag to the filter. So that's where you'd also want to tag any products with the vibes, so they'll actually be in here with the vibes once you start filtering.
Cool. One other thing, I think Good Shuffle is in the process of making the material and color and type visible. So once those attributes are made visible, we can go in and add a filter by. Oh yeah, you have that on those.
On this one, yep.
Mhm.
So basically, like right now, I have it built as like one static one on the back end, like filter by lighting type. But my idea is to basically make it so you could basically go into edit like this specific page, and then just on this page, just like punch in which types you want the filter to appear by. So it'll be more dynamic page by page.
That'd be cool.
So I kind of built it just to get it working on this page as more static, but then I would kind of give you the option. Same thing like where the pop-ups are with those custom fields. You would basically just like click a plus sign and put in the different types that you want here, and then we would kind of render the type filters. And then once they're all visible, we can take a look at basically adding multiple filters as well. So, because you can do up to 3. So on these pages, we'll be able to do up to 3. The one problem with the ATX and DFW is we're basically using an attribute filter just for the location. So on those pages, we'll only be able to do 2.
Okay. Gotcha.
But I pretty much know how I'm gonna build that out and make it work. So that'll be something we can kind of work on now that the website's up. Just adding more filters is definitely gonna be awesome, especially on the pages that have more inventory on it, long lists. So it'll make it easy to find items.
Mhm. I'm excited about the color filter.
Yeah, that'll be cool.
Mhm.
All right, so other than that, we have in the footer, just like all this information is under appearance and widgets. And you'll see footer column 1, 2, and 3, so you can edit any of the contact information here. The information that's up here in the menu, like get inspired and rent, these you can find under Max Mega Menu widgets. So you'll see get inspired, you can edit the text here. And our top bar, you can see just other widgets. So we have like some social icons that generally aren't edited too much, and some of it's kind of custom code. So there's not, mainly in these widgets, I would say the footer and the Max Mega Menu widgets. This in the top left is under appearance and menus. You'll see we have our main menu where we have kind of the whole mega menu set up. And then if you toggle to the top bar left, that's where like blog and vibe quiz are. So if you want to add another link up here, you can just add the page here. The vibe quiz, I don't know if you're ever going to need to edit this, but basically everything is in the back end just on this page. If you scroll down, you'll see how everything is working. So here's your question 1, ideal venue. Here's the names and the images and the point values for everything. So if you need to edit the points, basically this is what gets added to their total score when they click on it. And then these are the vibe results. So this is like the range. If their total points is between this range, then we show this vibe and bring them to that page. And I'm trying to think if there's anything else.
Oh, back to the footer real quick. If we have to update like the privacy policy and the other things, is that just linked to a PDF in the media library?
Yes. So, well, the privacy policy is a page with content on it. So
Okay.
this one you would edit just as text, but the
Okay.
policies is a PDF, like you mentioned. So if you go to footer column 3 policies,
Okay.
you can just see it's linked here. So you just update that, upload it to media library, edit it, and relink it here.
Okay. Cool.
Any other questions you can think of? Just trying to think. I don't want to, or anything like you think you'll be editing frequently that you want to run through.
I'm good, I think. Are you,
I'm
any
sure
other
I'll have
questions?
questions.
I know, I'm
actually.
sure we'll, yeah.
I don't have anything right now.
Yeah, well, we're not going anywhere, but mainly just kind of want to run through everything so you can change text easily and everything. But anytime you need help with anything, just let us know, and we'll be handling all the kind of maintenance of the site with the hosting package. So we'll be in there every 6 months at least, but you can always reach out to us. And basically, before we do the maintenance, we always send the pre-maintenance email. So just basically asking you if you have anything that you want us working on or updating while we're in there, if there's something off the top of your head. And we have, I'll send it basically once we kind of get going with everything. We have a email that you can CC that'll basically automatically create a ticket, and our account manager and our other developers can help make other changes just to get everything done as quickly as possible. And I'm on there too. So if I see anything, it's just kind of an alert and gets us on it so we don't lose track of any small edits.
Cool. Thank you so much.
It looks so great. We're popping some champagne here today, so I hope you guys will too.
I'll have to. I'm not a big champagne fan, but I can do that.
A beer.
Yeah, beer.